Okay.
Hey, Gabby, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to give you
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah, I love that. So the main thing that a lot of people want to know is like, what's your background and how did you become successful? So could you maybe just give us a little intro to your academic background and like how you decided to pursue your PhD?
Yes. My bachelor's is in mechanical engineering. I graduated from the University of Southern California. Right after that, I actually went to the industry for about 5 to 6 years. And throughout that time, I got my master's online, non-thesis master's at Purdue University in aeronautics and astronautics. Now, towards the end of my master's, I started realizing that I wanted to pursue my PhD because at that time I also had a research science position at my job, and I truly liked it. I thought that I wanted to explore a little bit more the area that I was interested in, which is farm robotics. So I started thinking about that, and yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is also really common too. People work for a little bit and then try to come back, but there's a lot of like mental, hurdles we have to go through for that. Like you had a job, you could have kept working. So like how did that decision process go?
Well, okay. To be honest, I didn't feel that I see myself in my same job for a longer time. And I wanted to do a lot more research in swarm robotics that wasn't specifically tied to the application that was of interest by my employer. So I actually then decided to just pursue my own venture and then started my own business, which was fairly new. And because of that same area of research that I was interested in, it's very new. So that there's a lot of development that needs to be done, I think, in academically setting. I thought that the best course of action for me was to go back to school, pursue a PhD, and then just explore more of that. And at the same time, I can use the resources to develop my company.
Yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
like that's kind of what I hope people get is like you should find value in the PhD, whatever you find valuable, and then like suck it all out as much as you can, right? Like
Yeah.
they're getting stuff from you. Like you're going to create a lot of good stuff for them. You're going to get a lot of good stuff in return. It should be like a win-win. So that's kind of what you're envisioning, right? Is like a win-win. Okay, cool. And so okay, so you are working or starting your own venture, you're finishing your master's. And so why did you decide to work with us in the Fearless Grad program?
Yeah. So actually, I already finished my master in 2021. Uh, well, the reason was because I think it's very so applying to a PhD program and a funded program is very different than when I just applied for my part-time online master's, which was paid by my employer. So the strategy here was very different. I applied the previous year, and even though I feel like I'm a top candidate, I have a lot of good things going on. I just didn't know how to market myself and the strategy behind that. I did a lot of mistakes now that I, went through the Fearless Grad program, but I only applied to one school and then I got rejected. And yeah, I did not feel really good. But deep inside me, I really wanted to apply again. I felt like I needed more structure and more strategy on how to successfully apply to a PhD.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I think that's also really common too, is people might apply one time or even twice and like not have success, but then when they get like a clearer vision, it becomes a little bit easier. So what did the like how did the program work for you? Like what strategies did you think were useful?
So a lot of them. First of all, understanding what they're looking for. Then again, I went into this mentality of like, hey, I can just highlight my qualifications before and then just a little bit on what I want to do, and that's it. But that's not true, right? And in the program, first, it was having that clarity and knowing how to express that, then learning how to highlight all your good skills and your good experience and tie that into that program of interest. And then the third part was really digging into not just digging a program in particular, but understanding the professors of interest, trying to also contact them and do it in, I guess, drafting an email in a way that would be um, that they will more likely read your email and reply to you. I knew that was kind of like an important part, but I didn't know how important it was until I went through this program. And then the third part was considering funding too. So it just gave me, I think that it gave me clarity in all the areas of applying to a PhD, which is a lot more complex than previous applications that I have done.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that. And yeah, that's so good. So how did the connecting phase go with you, like the networking and things like that? How did that go?
With faculty,
Mhm.
so I was extremely anxious, and I don't know if you remember from our conversation, because I felt like I had to had all the answers. I didn't know what to expect, and having a template and having, I think I talking to you and others in the group, it just made me feel a little bit more confident and understand that. That when you're going into these meetings, you're going to find information for yourself to see whether that's the person that you want to work with or not, and what they can offer um, when it comes to applying to PhD program in their lab. And before that, I was just thinking about like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. And I guess it was just, it removed some of that anxiety, just understanding what to expect in that interview or when you contact faculty.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important because like we're always going to be a little bit nervous. Like that's just being human. But I like how you're like, view changed. You first were like, oh, am I good enough to like, hey, I'm looking at them to see if they are going to offer, valuable things to me too. And I like that. I just like that confidence and that ability to take ownership of your next steps. So that's really cool. Okie dokie. So what was I gonna say? So what was like the best benefit in your opinion of doing this program where you're like, this thing was really, really set it apart for me?
Uh, I mean, I feel like for me it was a bunch of little things. It's hard for me to highlight one, but if I had to highlight one, just because it's just okay. If I had to highlight once, I think it was that guidance through writing a good statement of purpose. But I also want to say the community because that really helped me. But anyway, the reason for that is because the statement of purpose is really important, and your template and your guidance got me to having like a good first iteration. Of course, after that, I started reviewing it. I reviewed many times, but I think also by writing that and building up um, or learning through your modules on it helped me think about what I wanted. So it was easier when I wrote my statement of purpose. It was very clear what I wanted to do and why I wanted a PhD, and that also reflected in my interviews um, when I had with the faculty in the school. So I think just that guidance with the statement of purpose.
That's so cool because like it is my intent for the
Mhm.
whole thing to move you through and like and so it becomes so much easier. It's like my example is like, baking a cake or something, right? Instead of at the end you trying to like put everything together and like bake it in like 30 minutes, like we've already got the ingredients, we already mixed it, we're going to bake it, and then at the end we're just like putting the icing on. Like everything just goes a little bit smoother. And so I love that to hear that it built for you over time because it also speaks to like the time aspect of this. Like technically anybody could write an application in one day and be done, but it's highly unlikely we're going to do that. Like, or do it successfully unless you're like a genius. Then maybe yeah, you can do it in like an hour, but the rest of us we need a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, oh, let's hear about like where did you actually end up accepting and where are you going in the fall?
So I am going to UC Berkeley for mechanical engineering program, and yeah. that's where and I'm excited because I wasn't thinking about Berkeley before. I mean, I was, but I
Mhm.
wasn't. And this is my mistake on my end. Before I thought it was like automatically it's like, oh, I didn't want to do this school because of XYZ. But going through the program, I guess I had a narrow mindset before on how to choose universities.
Mm.
And with this training, I started looking at other important aspects when considering a PhD program. And it made me realize, like, oh my gosh, UC Berkeley is really offering what I need beyond just like,
Mm.
okay, one specific research and then that's it, or the prestige.
Mhm.
Although, I mean, we know that UC Berkeley has a great reputation, but anyway, so I'm going to UC Berkeley.
That's exciting. That's so awesome. How, are you excited?
I am very, very excited. I mean, I think you have seen from the messages in the chat that I'm like started looking at different things to do and how to take advantage of all the resources. And more than anything, I'm really excited about the faculty who admitted me that I'm going to be working with because our conversation went really, really great, and I feel like I think I'm going to be very happy. So hopefully,
Oh,
that
awesome.
happens. Yeah.
I love that. Very cool. Very good. Oh, so why did you decide, and you talked a little bit earlier about like what you were hoping to get out of this program, but you could have put the money on like GRE prep or maybe like a nice iPhone or something. So why did you decide to invest in yourself in this way?
Um, but because I feel like I needed the guidance. I already went through the previous year and I knew that doing it blindly was getting me nowhere. So I felt like I was really committed, or I think, okay, how would I say this in better words? I knew that I really want to get into a PhD, and I know that I had to put in the work somehow. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like if you want to run the marathon, it's like that you have to put in the effort
Mm,
somehow, and maybe I don't know, you have to invest in good shoes, right? Because if you don't have the
mm,
right shoes, that's not probably the best analogy, but I knew that this is
mm,
gonna get me there. Okay, so
mm.
it was just a no-brainer for me. I tried it once, I was lost, I failed, and then if I wanted to make sure that I at least get admitted to the places that I wanted to, I knew that I needed the guidance, I needed the coaching.
Awesome. Yeah, it's like sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we just, ups and downs through the process and we want to keep going. We don't want to get stuck in one of these little downturns. Like we want to keep going forward. Yeah. Oh, some things people ask me is like, they see the website and like similar to going to a PhD program, it's like, but for this program, it's like, well, what's it really like inside? Like, could you describe anything inside that you were like maybe skeptical of from the outside or weren't quite sure how it worked and then you got inside you're like, oh, this is how it works? Anything like that?
So about the Fearless Grad program
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I didn't know. Yeah, I've never had any coaching before, so I didn't know what to expect. And when I talked to Mackenzie for the first time, and then she explained to me, first you're gonna learn about different aspects of the application, and it's gonna be first educational, and then you have to do things on your own. Then I thought it would. That's when I realized, okay, maybe this is good for me because it's not somebody just writing something for me or just like, doing things for me, but I'm gonna learn it myself. And I actually became a much better writer through this process, I think. Um, but I thought it was pretty easy. Like you just go through the modules, and I like that you provided a lot of information, a lot of material for you to do the research yourself. Um,
Mhm.
So I thought it's kind of like taking a course in Coursera or Udemy, right?
Sure.
So teach you
Sure.
the skills to be able to do it successfully. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the answer you were expecting,
But
but
no, but hopefully a little more interactive than Coursera.
Mhm.
Hopefully a little
Right.
bit.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, definitely. So you do have like that's the other thing. I didn't know that there was going to be this level of support that you're always having meetings, responding in Slack when we have questions. So I thought that was pretty valuable out of the value because I of the value of Fearless Grad. So I didn't expect that, and that was pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah. Cause like, you know, if you just did a course or if you just did like
Yeah.
one call, like then what happens when the call's over? Like who do you ask questions to? You know, like so sometimes people will ask me, oh, can we just do one call or whatever? It's like we can, but then in 2 weeks when you've got this other question, like what are you gonna do? Like
Yeah. No, it's been an ongoing support. It's been like almost it's been a year, I think.
isn't that crazy?
Yes.
It,
Yes.
it
Mhm.
is. What would you tell yourself like a year ago when you were like stressed out and like thinking about like what you need to do to get yourself in motion?
I would say it's all gonna be okay. There's like, at least for this program, you're gonna find that community, and I think that community here, just like in the Slack channel, has been a great support. I didn't know before how important community was until the Fearless grad program. Um, so I guess I would say just like it's gonna be fine. It's gonna take some time, but you don't think about the time. I can't believe it's been a year, and it's just like, you know,
I
just
know. It's
yeah,
like it's bittersweet for me too because like I love all you guys, but like you know you do like you leave the nest like in the best way and like so I'm very excited for all you guys, but I want to keep growing the network. Hopefully, the next round of people can reach out to you guys for like a coffee chat, and so that's the goal too. Yeah, cool. Anything
yeah.
else you want to share about just the application process in general or things that you found surprising or that you know kind of learned along the way?
Um, not other than like I feel like the program really made things more manageable and easier for me, because before I was so overwhelmed and anxious, and I think that this was just a great program
Oh,
for
good,
that.
good.
Uh,
I love
yeah,
that. I love
yeah.
that because like while the result matters, like yeah, getting the thing you want, like
Mhm.
the journey also matters. And I know like you and me are both like engineers, like we tend to focus on like the tangible thing, but you know, we're human beings. Like if we feel bad through something, like that's not enjoyable. And it's also probably not going to produce good results either. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you got to feel supported and like,
Mhm.
you know, in charge through this whole process. That's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, nice speaking with you. I'm going to hit